KidsPoint Sunday. Welcome. Thanks so much for being with us today. We believe that kids are incredibly important at the Point Church. Your kids are important. The kids down the street, your neighbors' kids, they're all important. And we want to serve God by serving kids. So thanks so much for being a part of this today. This is a big day. It's been in the works for quite a while now. And Pastor Geoff, his whole team are doing an incredible job in children's ministry. You're going to love this day. Thanks for being a part of it. And before we're done, I hope you're an even bigger part of KidsPoint Church here at the Point Church.
What is today?
KidsPoint Sunday.
Say it again.
KidsPoint Sunday.
One more time.
KidsPoint Sunday.
Very good. Today is KidsPoint Sunday, just in case you've forgotten, didn't know, or didn't hear. KidsPoint Sunday, what does that mean? That we are taking over
the service?
The service. Very good. We are taking over the service, and with that, we have no kids program going on downstairs. All of our kids are invited to be part of upstairs. If you have a small one, you're able to go down to the nursery and use that and just kind of take that space and come on up. Anna, in our kids program at all three sites, Bathurst, Chatham, and Newcastle, how many kids are regularly a part of that?
100 or more.
100 or more. How many volunteers does it take?
40 or 50.
Yeah, on a Sunday, over about 100 volunteers altogether. It is a big deal for us, and so we want to make it a big deal today. And so we're going to actually invite our elementary kids up on stage. We're going to kick things off singing a song called Never Be Shaken. So if you're an elementary kid, I want you to come on up on the stage. We're going to sing a song. All right, would you help them?
Keep my lamp burning. You have turned my darkness to light. Set my feet high on this mountain and put my enemies to flight. So I will praise you as long as I live. Oh, I will praise you again and again.
All right, here we go. We're going to walk it out. All right, help them out. Good job. If there's any preschoolers in the house, we're going to sing a song that you've sung all last month called Jesus is Alive.
everybody what I know about. I gotta light, I gotta shine. It makes me dance and spin around. I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. I cannot keep it to myself. I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. I cannot keep it to myself. So I throw my hands up and wave them side to side. I throw my hands up and give you a high five. I throw my hands up and wave them side to side. I throw my hands up and give you a high five. 'Cause Jesus is alive. I know that Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. We're singing Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. I know that Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. I know that Jesus is alive.
Give him a big round of applause. Woo!
You'll find us laughing,
playing, and talking,
you'll find us hurting,
lying,
fighting, and crying,
you'll find us in homes,
in schools,
and in malls.
you'll find us in parks, on the streets,
and in churches.
We are your children.
We are your children.
We are your children.
We are your children.
Your youth and your responsibility. The call of the world continues to weaken the influence of our families and the church over us.
It's becoming harder and harder for us to hear the message of God's love.
The time is right for an emphasis on the children and youth of this world.
We need a church that will minister to us and incorporate us into the church family.
We need to know we matter.
We need to know that we are loved.
We need to know that life has a purpose.
We are disciples in training, not disciples in waiting.
Please don't underestimate us.
We are the church of today and the church of the future.
But you are in danger of losing us. You're losing us.
You are losing us.
You're losing us.
You're losing.
You're losing
You're
us.
losing
You're
us.
losing us.
You're losing us.
You're losing us.
We are within your grasp.
Will you do what it takes to reach us?
Will you teach us how to live?
You can help change our lives.
Please take the time to share Christ with us.
Because in 10 years, I will be 20.
In 10 years, I'll be 15.
I'll be 19,
20, 21,
22.
21.
17.
I'll be 18.
I'll be 15.
The question is,
The question is.
The question
The question.
is.
The question is,
The question is,
The question is.
in 10 years, will it be too late?
We are going to talk a little bit, and we're going to showcase a couple of videos. But what I want to say is this: 3 voices. Everybody hold up 3 fingers. Very good. This is just allowing your brain to lock in that, and it increases your memory. And so with 3 voices, I want to talk about these 3 voices. 1, kids. Kids have a voice. 2, parents have a voice. And 3, the church has a voice. We could talk a lot more voices, but these 3 that we're going to focus in on, and this is what I'm going to say, is I've interviewed a guy named Sam. Everybody say Sam. I've interviewed a guy named Sam, and he is at our Bathurst site, and I wanted to hear from his voice what home looked like and what the church voice looked like, and if they were playing together. And then I interviewed his mom, which he didn't see coming. His mom's name is Pascaline. Say Pascaline. Very good. Again, at our Bathurst site. And from a voice of a parent, we want to see, hey, as a parent, what you're hearing from your kid and what you're hearing from the church, are those voices 3 different voices, or are they one voice? And then I'm interviewing Ann Cameron here live at our Newcastle site to talk about what it means as a volunteer, the church's voice. And so let's tune in and let's watch what Sam and Pascaline have to say. Hey Sam, I am so glad that you're joining me, and I'm going to ask you a few questions to get to know you a little bit better. And Sam, you go to our Bathurst site, and here's probably the hardest question I'm going to ask you. How old are you?
I'm 10.
10 years
I'm
old.
10.
Very good. So that wasn't too hard of a question, was
No.
it? So the rest are easy. What school do you go to?
I go to Terry Fox Elementary School.
Oh, very good. Now, you go to school, so you're probably pretty involved with school. That takes up a lot of your time. You go home, you hang out. What other things do you do that you're involved in?
I am involved in Ringette, and I also like hanging out with my friends.
So that keeps you fairly busy. Would you say you're a busy guy?
Yes.
Good, because if you said no, your mom would probably say you're teasing. Very good. So you're also involved, but what people might not know is that our Bathurst site, we did our Easter experience, and you played young Miles Whitaker there. And how did that experience feel?
It was really cool.
Yeah, and I bet a few people come up and told you did a good job.
Yes.
Right? It feels good to be part of the church and being involved. So you're a fairly involved guy. Now, how long have you been coming to the Point Church?
I'd say about a year or
a little bit more than a year, which is awesome. And so in that, who would you say is your favorite person at the Point Church?
You.
I didn't pay you any money to say that. That's awesome. But truth is truth, so I'm okay with that. Now, I'm going to give you a scenario. If we just stopped doing church, the church burned down, we quit church, we said we're not going to do church anymore, what would you miss about church?
I'd miss waking up early with my dad, going to his practice, and playing with my friends.
Oh, very good. And your dad's involved in the worship team, so you get to kind of hang out and be part of that. And also, you're playing in the band this morning. And your friends that actually think the same way and learn about God, you like those friends that hang out and you learn about God together. So super important there. Now, let me ask you, outside of church, do you learn about God at home?
Yes, I do. I have this book called The Grace for Creator for Kids, and I also read the Bible, and my mom pays me $5 for
So you read the Bible, you read Case for Creator for Kids, and your mom pays you $5.
Yes.
Actually, I pay my kids money too. But what they're doing, if I can speak on behalf of parents, is we're building habits into you, right? So that you're like, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and you love it, right? There's lots of information you get from that and learn about God. Have you ever taken what you learned at home to school and try to tell people about God?
Yes, I've tried teaching people about the Bible and about God, but they just ignored me and said it didn't exist, so that got me pretty sad. But what I did was I came up to my parents and asked, what should I do? So they said, just bring a Bible to school and show them. So that's what I did, and some of them ignored me, the others actually listened to me.
Wow, that's awesome. Some people will. Some people ignore and some people will listen. But that's awesome that you had the courage to be able to say, I'm not just going to back down and say, oh, they said they don't believe in God. You actually said, I need to show them. I need to help prove, because you believe in God and you want to make sure that they believe in God. And that's awesome that your parents help guide you through that as well. So awesome job. Thank you so much, Sam. You did a great job. All right, this is Pascaline. I am so glad that you're hanging out with me this morning. Let's get to know you a little bit better. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, my husband and I have 4 children.
Yes.
20, 17, 10, and 7.
Wow, it's a good spread. An awesome family. I love your family so much. Let's rewind the clock a little bit and go back to when you first encountered God. Tell us a little bit about that.
Vincent and I were dating already, and we found, just met some friends, met a couple that we thought were really cool, and so we just became friends, and then we found out that they were going to church, and we thought that was kind of weird because I didn't think that cool people went to church.
Who knew?
So,
Who knew?
And they invited us to a Christmas tree, like a production like we have at Point Church. And we were really curious to learn more about that. It was just a different, we never had this kind of church experience, really.
Right. Yeah. And so you would have grown up a little bit more in the Catholic Church.
Exactly, yes.
And so definitely a foreign experience to go to a Living Christmas Tree production, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
And so from that point on, you just started hearing about God in a totally different way, right?
Yeah, all of a sudden, I guess, it started to make sense, this whole God, Jesus, and the Bible, and it was explained properly, and the pastor was talking a language that we could actually understand, so that was nice.
It was very nice just to be able to comprehend that. And so that point, you didn't have kids.
Nope.
And you weren't married.
No, I didn't want kids.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So something obviously
Who
changed.
knew?
You have 4 kids later.
Obviously.
Yeah. And so God just started transforming your life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that led to first you guys getting married.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
We got married. Yeah.
And then after that, kid number 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
And 4.
Yeah.
Wow. And so from that point on, you said church is important. We need to make sure that our kids are going to church. We need to go to church and have that relationship. What drew you to the Point Church a little over a year ago?
Well, 2 things. When we came to the Point Church, we really liked just the positive environment, and people were happy, and it's kind of the environment that we had when we first became Christian, at the church that we first went to.
Yes.
That's what really
drew you in.
Yeah, exactly. People were happy and joyful, and so that's what we experienced when we came to the Point Church. So that's the first thing, and we wanted to also be able to invite people to church.
Yeah. You want to be proud of what you're a part of.
Yes.
And you want to say, hey, you got to come to what I'm part of, because you had that experience where somebody cool loved their church and invited you to what was going on there. And so you just want to pay that forward. And that's what God says in the Great Commission, right? To go into all the world and to tell people. So I appreciate that. That was one of them. You said there's 2. One of them, the other one was...
Yeah. The second is it's obvious that the Point Church is really investing in the next generation. And as I teach my kids, about God, and I want them to have a personal relationship with Jesus, I want to make sure that the church does that too. And the Point Church is really investing in our kids with the KidsPoint program.
Yeah, I love the Point Church, the fact that we say we want to put our money and our energy behind investing in the next generation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just something we know we should do, but the fact that I have a job is saying that is an important part of the Point Church. And the amount of kids we have involved, the amount of volunteers that back that up, and just the comments that you say, hey, this is something I've been looking for. And you said that's what drew us there, is that it's my kids are important too.
Yeah.
And I need help. How do we get another voice into my kids' life? What I'm trying to say, how do we get the church to say that?
It's not just mom and dad.
Right, it's the church is doing that too, and that one voice is so important. So not only are you part of the Point Church a year later, your husband's serving in the worship team, and you're involved in KidsPoint program.
That's right.
What do you find motivates you to continue volunteering?
Well, again, 2 things.
Yeah.
Things compact. The first one is I find as a parent, as I volunteer at KidsPoint, I'm down there with the kids, and I can be crazy and sing songs with the kids, and it's amazing. And also, I know what's going on, so I hear about the lesson, and so during the week, I can remind them about what they learned on Sunday. So it's just a continuation there.
Yeah, it's taking what was said on Sunday, and you're more informed, so you can parent that on Monday, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. I love some parents, it's like, here you go, have my kids, and we love those kids, and other parents can appreciate investing in and taking that a little bit extra energy, because it helps them so much more on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on and so forth. And so thank you so much for sharing that with us, and how important it is to have that one voice as a parent, to have that church saying the same thing you're saying at the home. Yeah. It's awesome job. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to invite up another guest, Ann Cameron. As we talk about 3 voices, we heard from Sam as a kid. We heard from Pascaline as a parent. We're going to hear from Ann Cameron as somebody representing the church voice, a volunteer in our Kids Min. So welcome. Thank you for coming up. I am really high up. All right, and so let's get to know Ann Cameron just a little bit. In case people don't know you, we want to make sure that happens. You're talking to all 3 sites, Chatham and Newcastle, and here at Newcastle and Bathurst. And we're trying to figure out what it means to have a church voice. And so let us first get to know Ann Cameron a little bit.
All right, so my name is Ann Cameron. I'm the mother of these 2 beautiful children who are cleaning up their mess as we speak. Quincy is 7 today. He's a little excited. And Tessa's 9 years old. I'm married I'm married to Brett Cameron. He's in Fredericton this morning, but he also serves in children's ministry as well, but he's serving as a teacher volunteering this weekend with high school students.
There you go. You guys are heavily involved in lots of things. And so you are a kindergarten teacher at Max Aiken. How many people in your class?
Only 17 this year.
Only 17 kindergarten kids. So if I said you're going home with 17 kindergartens, would that make you a little anxious? And yet, on Sunday, she comes down and helps out with her kindergarten grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s, as well as volunteering. So that's awesome. Let's rewind the clock a little bit and figure out what your first experience with understanding who God was. When did you kind of crash into that knowledge that maybe God is something I need to start following?
Yeah, so I was very blessed to grow up in a Christian home. Both my parents had attended church as children, but as young adults, having their family, it was a neighbor who had said to my parents, hey, we've got a great children's program at a church in Nova Scotia. Would you like us to take your kids? And my parents thought, yeah, I want my kids to grow up in a church, but I want to be the ones to take them. So my parents came and got heavily invested again into church. And I was dedicated as a baby, and my brothers were a number of years older, but we were dedicated as a family.
That's awesome. Interesting just to see the role of the parents' voice saying, okay, if this is going to happen, role of the church kind of pulling you guys in, and the parents saying, no, I need to have a voice here too, and that becoming one voice. So let's fast forward a little bit to the point where now you are at church with your husband, and you're saying, we need to volunteer all the time. Thanks, Quincy.
Yeah, so we, thank you, Quincy. We were attending a church and really wanting to get involved in children's ministry. Todd McLeod and Karen, former pastor and his wife of this church when it was Newcastle United Baptist Church, were running a Wednesday night program, and they lived just down the road from us. And he said, you love kids? Yes. Do you want to get involved? And they picked me up, and we just started ministering that way. Then we got involved in the nursery well before we had our own children, because we just love kids. And then once we had our kids, I was in the nursery, and then I did preschool, and I've graduated now to elementary. Wow. I don't know if I'll take the step to teens, but we'll see.
I've had people say, I am good at nursery. I've had other people say, I'm good in preschool, and others say, don't put me with a teenager. Mm-hmm. Nobody's scary, it's just scared of the unknown. People love nursery because they don't talk back.
This is true.
Right? Anyways, I love kids, and then you love kids, and it's amazing to see how when the church truly loves kids, there's a different voice that happens, and it comes alongside of the parent. And so how has the church voice helped you as a parent?
So different people will say to me, wait a minute, you're a teacher 5 days a week, and now you want to be a volunteer at church? And I put on my different tags, and yes, I do. I am a parent, I am a teacher, and I love serving in children's ministry because I could see how we outreach to our community. Kids are hurting, kids need Christ. Families are hurting, and they need that as well. So by seeing kids in our community and the outreach that this church does, we invite families in, and whether it's trunk or treat or Easter celebrations, different things that we're doing, Amazing Race, people will say, hey, you teach at my school. Yeah, I do. And so it's really cool. They can kind of see you inside the church, but also outside the church walls as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love helping with the breakfast program on Fridays at Max Aiken, and then one kid will come up and recognize me and say, hey, it's Pastor Geoff, and then you have like 18 kids behind them going, passenger who? Like, who is this guy? Because pastor's just not in the vocabulary. And then we had a kid in Bathurst that was trying to figure out, you would have heard in the iStory series, a kid came up and was trying to figure out what he must be saying, master, and then started calling me Master Geoff. And then he had a following, so everybody called me Master Geoff. And it's just interesting to get into the community and to help parents as a church to encourage that voice.
And we also have a coach, Pastor Geoff, who takes on middle school kids at Max Aiken Academy as well.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And as the church's voice is so powerful, because parents, and you can appreciate this as much as I can with a parent of two, that we don't know the answer how to parent fully. And nobody's come up with the one book. And so when you have partnerships, like the church saying, hey, we have some ideas here, let's help together, it encourages you as a mom.
Absolutely. And when you volunteer with your kids, it gives you a chance to grow together. I volunteer with my staff member, Maura Didam, over there. So that's wonderful, too, that we can not only work through the week together, but we can serve together. Our small group's involved. Majority of people in our small group are helping out as well. So it really, when we agreed years ago in small groups to do life together, it's not only raising your kids, but serving together. So it's wonderful opportunities. If you don't want to do it alone, grab a friend and come check us out.
Yeah, last thing, so you have an audience with Bathurst and Chatham listening, people online and here in Newcastle. Volunteering, some parents, let's just focus on parents for example. Some parents say, listen, I just need 5 minutes, just take my kids, and that's okay, we love them. But the benefit of you being a parent and volunteering, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so not only do I know the curriculum and what they're doing, but it's just a reminder to me, if we're talking about patience and I'm teaching the kids about patience, that's helping me as a parent as well. I'm coming alongside of my children and going along with it as well, and knowing what it means to be patient, why I need to be patient, maybe why I ask for patience, and just try to help that model as well. And we talk about volunteers, and a lot of people say, oh, well, I want to volunteer, I want to give back to my community. So what better way to give back to God's community? And I asked Brett, do you have 2 cents you want to add to this? And he said, we can't think of anything more to do with our time that would be more effective use of our time with this internal reward of teaching kids about Christ. It's so, so important.
Absolutely. And so just when you volunteer, you end up learning. I had a guy that says, I don't know much about God. I said, well, let's start at the beginning, jump in kids ministry, because that's where the foundation is being built. And this was a 33-year-old guy, jumped in, started volunteering, and he was learning at the pace that he needed to learn, and he had to teach it, so he was learning so much faster, and he just grew into an incredible leader like 5 years later, just because it was a place that he could learn as well. And so volunteering is so important. What a great way, personally, but to partner with other parents as well.
And this church really invests in their volunteers. 2 years ago, I was sent to Atlanta, Georgia, while I was on a deferred leave from teaching to partake in the Orange Conference, which Geoff just got back from. And one of the things that I took away from that is talking about the health of a church. Often we used to measure the health of a church by the number of people sitting in their seats. And now we kind of look at the health of the church as the number of people that are serving. And I want the Point Church to be a healthy church. And I think, the more that we can encourage each other to get involved, to really grow together. And parenting's not easy. I need your guys' help. I really do. And I have an education background in child development. So if I can admit that it's not easy and that we do need your help to partner together and be a whole village, a Christian village to raise our children, it'd be wonderful.
Absolutely. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. When we talk about 3 voices, really what the end goal is this: one voice. One voice. That the world is so busy that you hear this and that and the other thing, and it's exhausting. But to come to church and be encouraged on how to live, and then to take that from Sunday to Monday and to have that same voice happening. That what's happening in the home is happening at church, and you have that similar thing. And kids to grow up, if you said, okay, what is the ideal end result? Well, the ideal end result is that a kid will grow up to be a godly, capable adult that understands God is the most important thing, and all decisions start there. Capable, the Great Commission, which we're all called to do, is to go into all the world and to preach the gospel, baptize believers. This is the most important thing. And if a kid grows up and isn't capable, they're not able to do what God has called everyone to do. And then the fun one I always love saying is an adult. We want to grow up to be adults. And we paused you, we made you kids today, but there are people that are adults that, I don't know if you've heard this word, I've said it from the platform once before, that are kidults. Say the word kidult. Kidult, meaning they are in between living in their parents' basement. Nothing wrong with that unless you're the parent, okay? The point is, my goal as a parent is to raise my kids up to be godly, to be capable, to be an adult, so that they can repeat that. We can reproduce people that follow God. And so that is just so exciting that as a church, our voice is to come alongside of families, alongside of every single person, giving them hope. 1 John 4:9 says this, that Jesus wants us to love others the way that he has loved us. And if we can just make it really simple, the greatest command we were given is found in Mark 12:30-31. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second one is like it, which is to love your neighbor as yourself. And if we can teach kids and we can teach ourselves this simple, simple concept, but hard to do, which is let's put God first and let's show that the way Jesus showed us and love others, something's going to change. And we take all of these voices and we make it to one voice. And when there's one voice, something amazing happens. I'm going to leave you with this quote, that when two combined influences come together, it makes for a greater impact than just two influences. Or if you can say it this way, two voices combined together make for a greater impact than just two voices. So as a church, we don't want to be a Sunday church. We want to be an everyday church. Because the church isn't the building, the church are God's people, right? And so what we need to know is that we're going to love God and we're going to love others. And when we showcase that to kids authentically, something changes. And you fast forward a generation later, the things we have problems with in our world aren't big problems anymore. Because what really matters is people, not programs. People, not politics. People matter. And so if we can partner with families and have that same voice, watch out, world. Something amazing is going to happen because that's what God has designed that way. So would you stand with me? We're going to invite our bands back at all locations, and we're going to close in prayer and sing a song. God, we just thank you so much for this opportunity to celebrate KidsPoint on a Sunday. Thank you that we get to celebrate that children are important. Lord, we are raising up a generation. And we want to start building foundations where they know that you made them and love them and want to be their friend forever. We want to add to that where we can take what they learn on Sunday and move it to Monday. God, help us be a church that showcases love authentically to others. May we be about other people. Or may what we say on Sunday be what we say on Monday. May we just live it out. Lord, may we take one moment that you are putting in our minds right now that maybe we're not quite there yet. Allow us to take a step forward in that direction, to move towards being one voice. Maybe it's to volunteer. Maybe it's I just need to get involved more so that I am in the know more. So my kids, I'm leading by example. Lord, sometimes that's hard. Help us find a way in your strength while surrounding ourselves with a community of faith to encourage us along every single day. That we can raise up a next generation that's going to destroy this world for you in an amazing way. In an amazing way. God, we love you. We thank you for this moment, for this church, and for the impact you're asking us to do. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.